Talking of going up and down rent controls as well, hot topic once again, as Sadiq Khan calls for new powers. Scott, you have some views on this, I believe.
Well, Sadiq Khan, he'd like to freeze private rents for 2 years in London so people can catch up from what's been going on in the last 36 months. He thinks the tenants on average can save about £3,000 during that period and then use that money to kind of pay other bills. And
so is the suggestion that private rents are continuing to go up despite the fact that the economy has taken a bit
of absolutely going up because people are moving back to London at the moment. I've got a lot of friends of mine who don't own, people who've been working away or moving back to parents.
So did rents fall when
rents fall or
when people moved out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now they're going straight up.
And he's trying to halt that increase.
To find places.
Right.
So he said private renters make up nearly a third of everyone living in the capital now, and it's only going to increase.
Wow.
And he thinks the only
Not having come down a third in 2020 when everyone left.
No. And I think what he's trying to do is what they've done in New York, San Francisco, where I have a flat under rent control, and other cities like Berlin, cities where the government steps in and tries to put a cap on what people can rent as well. I think he'd like to do that. In Berlin, they come to you if you're a landowner and say, you're charging too much, bring it down. And it makes people rent for a longer period of time and not seek to buy. They feel happy where they are.
So you own a flat in San Francisco, or you rent a flat in San Francisco?
I rent.
You rent a flat. And even though you live here a lot of the time, you continue to rent that?
I'm a citizen of the world.
Digital nomad.
Yeah, and it's my permanent residency, so I do, my family's there and I like to work there.
So as a good example then of one of the, whether it is an unintentional consequence or a bad incentive, but you would never give up that flat because even though you might be away for 6 months, you'd rather continue to pay the rent than confront what might be waiting for you.
It's horror. If you leave San Francisco, you never get back in. I mean, that's kind of what rent control has done. It's made the city both too cheap and too expensive for people. So now there's no middle ground. If you leave,
and do you sublet it while you're away?
It's impossible and illegal. I would never, ever do that.
Okay.
And if I were to lose it and try to get back, I couldn't afford the rent of the apartment I'm living in.
So that is a kind of, I mean, I would say that was a dysfunctional outcome. Obviously, I don't blame you for doing what you're doing. You know, you're dealing with the pack.
It's my home, but I do have friends who live in Germany, live in Berlin, comedians I know, and their lives are much more sustainable. Because people don't. The government doesn't encourage people to buy there; they encourage them to rent. And
what do you think, George? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's a different culture. Here, when I was renting, it was insane. We had a studio flat. It was that's double the mortgage that we pay now. I ended up living at my grandmother's for nearly 5 years to save the deposit to get our place. And that's how we survived with 5 kids.
It's going to be very hard. I mean, what you really want to do, really, I suspect, is reverse the proportion of the amount of property in London that's owned by private landlords. I mean, but I don't know how you would.
Well, they've been trying. I believe now it's different now what you can claim back.
Oh, yeah.
So they are.
There was 20 years, and to be honest, that was under Blair's government as well, wasn't it? A lot of it, when they encouraged it so extraordinarily enthusiastic to
Some people made an absolute fortune. People. Normal, with 2-3 flats, renting them out and making.
They've asked Airbnb owners to release their flats to Ukrainian citizens coming over for less. Although the Russians own them all, so that's going to be an awkward key exchange.
Oh my goodness!
Happen.
Yeah.